Hey y'all, it's Allie from Green Witch Mystics, and today I'm going to show you how to use liver of sulfur. What exactly is liver of sulfur? It is a chemical patina for darkening metal. Most people use this on copper and sterling silver. You can't use this on anything that is plated or has some sort of coating on it. We use it well. It adds depth to projects, it brings out detail and texture in wire, and it complements some stones and projects better than the raw metal. Here are some things that you will need. Liver of sulfur. I use this brand Extended Life Gel Liver of Sulfur. This is the only one I have ever used. I bought a little bottle of this and it probably lasted me close to 2 years, maybe even 3 before I had to buy another one. So you get a huge bang for your buck. You don't need that much. I've never personally used any other brand, but I'm sure there are other options out there. You will need some sort of disposable utensils, or at least utensils that you are not going to use for food consumption. Do not use anything that is metal. I like to use just some plastic utensils and plastic tools like plastic cups and bowls. Using warm water with your liver of sulfur helps speed up the oxidation process, but it's not completely required. I've used room temperature water before, so. We'll also need some baking soda to neutralize the effects afterwards. Some sort of polishing cloth or polishing utensils. I use this polishing cloth, and then I also use my Dremel, which I will bring out later. And then of course your pieces to oxidize, optional paintbrush. A few things before we get started. Do not pour this down the drain before you neutralize it with baking soda. Do not pour this outside before you neutralize it with baking soda. Preferably don't use this around pets. It has an extremely strong smell, so I would use this outside or in a well-ventilated area. And follow the directions of your liver of sulfur company and follow the directions on how to use it and how to stay safe. Okay, so all you need is just the little tiniest amount. Ooh, like that is plenty. You'll also want some sort of rag. Forgot to mention that at the beginning, some sort of rag or paper towel. Nice and eggy. So I personally have not had any problem with any crystal, mineral, or gemstone and dipping it in liver of sulfur. There's the whole any crystal that ends in "ite" can't be put into water, and that is just completely not true and not backed by science. That is a totally other video I will have to get into, and you can check my TikTok out to see my opinion on that. But every mineral is different. Every mineral has a completely different water solubility, and every single mineral has been submerged into water, coated with water. When you carve it and clean it and polish it like they do, it has to be completely dipped in water for long periods of time. So a little bit of extra water exposure is probably not going to do any harm. Some harm that could come from this is if you just leave this on the gemstone and don't clean it off. That could potentially eat away at softer stones. If you are concerned about it, either don't wrap stones that you can't dip into liver of sulfur, i.e. like water, or you could use a paintbrush, which I will show you in the second piece that I oxidize. From my how to wire wrap cabochon video, I showed you how to make this. Here You can run it underwater and then do this. I'm just gonna do this and just let it sit for a second while I do this one. So this is malachite. You can dip this in water. The only problems I've had with malachite are if you are in a pool or if you leave any chemicals. So again, like chlorine or perfume, alcohol, stuff like that, over time can eat away at malachite. But just plain water and a little bit of sulfur for not even a couple minutes is probably not going to do much. But again, if you are concerned about it, you can take a paintbrush very carefully, and you can even go so far as to like put masking tape on the, and you could like you could dip, it's like an Oreo, a little cookie, you could dip. Some people will wear gloves, which I'm sure the bottle probably recommends it. I am not super sensitive or have any reactions to the sulfur, so I just touch it with my hands. I'm sure people are gonna be like, no, you can't do that, it's not safe. It's okay for me, I'm gonna do it, it's just sulfur. But if you are unsure or don't want to do that, then wear gloves by all means. And it's gonna have to get like a little wet, the stone obviously, but you can mitigate it as much as possible. And then this process will take a little bit longer unless you really saturate the water. I mean, if you put like just a straight up dot of the liver of sulfur on the brush, it's gonna probably be a pain to clean it off and to polish it because it's gonna be so dark and patina like crazy. But I'm gonna let this just like sit for a couple minutes and see how it does. But I'll probably just end up dunking this if it takes too long. So this is where we are with it now. I'm going to dunk it and show you that it's fine. So you can tell how much more depth that oxidation adds. And it also changes the color. So instead of that warm orange, it gives it more of a kind of, I don't know if muted is quite the right word, but a little bit more of a brown instead of an orange. You could use a Dremel if you want. I have in previous videos, especially my wire wrapping tool breakdown, I have mentioned that and showed how I use it. But you can also just use a polishing cloth. You can really tell what a difference it makes in like the whole vibe of a piece. A couple extra things. I personally don't coat my pieces. A lot of people do like to coat their pieces because over time they'll get darker, they'll oxidize more, or depending on how they're worn, some of the oxidation might come off. But I've never really found a wire coating that I like, so I just leave it plain and just let it be and give free polishing cloths and a free little pamphlet on kind of what oxidation is, why it happens, and how to clean your piece and take care of it, because it's totally natural and fine and cool and fun. So I hope I answered all of your questions about liver of sulfur, how to use it, Follow me for more, like and subscribe. Check out my social media links down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.